Yo, what is up guys, it Ghost here, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to have a bit of a news roundup. We haven't got a date for the next patch for Battlefield 6 yet. Obviously we are getting more content, I believe, on the 9th or the 10th of December. The exact date escapes me now, but whenever Phase 3 drops for Season 1. But it looks like we may be getting an additional patch before then that is going to target a number of really important fixes for the game, so I do want to go over those. Apparently they are also looking into a full audio pass, which is really good news. And then Battlefield 6 going free to play doesn't seem to have had much of an effect on the player base at all. So we're going to get into all of that in a second. As always, if you guys enjoy the content here, hit the sub button, hit the like button, stay up to date with everything around Battlefield 6. And as always, thank you guys so much for the support. So as you may or may not know, at the moment, Battlefield 6 is free to play for a week. This started on the 25th of November, and it runs all the way until the 2nd of December. And you can play 3 different maps. You can play Siege of Cairo, you can play Eastwood, Blackwell Fields, and I think they actually added one more map there, although the exact one escapes me. And there's a few modes as well. You can play Conquest, Breakthrough, Sabotage, Team Deathmatch, and Escalation. Now, with Battlefield 6 being as popular of a game as it is, you would kind of expect that maybe the player base would jump up like 100,000 players, maybe 200,000 players, something like that, because the game hit an overall peak of like 747,000 when it released just a little over a month and a half ago now. But actually, if we go and look at the Steam DB numbers, it's basically barely flinched. So these are the numbers that you can see, which was the weekend here, the 23rd and the 24th, just before the free-to-play week kicked in. And it's actually taken a dip there, which is quite normal, because then you're coming into Monday and people are going to work, people are going to school, and etc. But overall, so far, we haven't really seen any dramatic increase to the player numbers. Now, I don't actually think this is a reason to worry, and I think the main reason for that is because most of the people who are interested in playing the game for free, well, they already are, because you can play RedSec, you can play Gauntlet for free, and so I think this was rather an opportunity for those people to move over and experience the regular game modes, like Conquest and Breakthrough, some of the other maps in the game, and maybe they will then choose to buy the game for themselves. I've got to say, it does, still surprise me a little bit, though. I mean, I did expect to see some sort of a spike in the numbers there, but there you go. I suppose we'll see what happens this weekend. Okay, next up here, we have a change to one of the challenges, and this is to the bonus battle path challenge for Sabotage, and it's the one where you had to get 300 revives or resupplies on teammates at objectives. That has now been reduced from 300 all the way down to 30, and I'll be the first one to stand up and say I looked at this challenge for a second and was like, oh, there's no way that I'm playing Sabotage enough to do this. I don't think Sabotage is necessarily a bad game mode, but personally it's just not what I go to Battlefield for. And so basically that one just insta-completed for me when I logged in, and I'm willing to bet it will do for a lot of you guys as well. If you've already gone through the painstaking effort to grind it out with all 300, well, let's all leave an F in the comments for those folks. Now, moving on, let's talk about some of the upcoming fixes for some of the glaring issues with Battlefield 6. Now, we don't yet know when the next update is coming for the game. It could just be on December 9th, which is when the last part of Season 1 drops, Winter Offensive, and that's going to bring with it the new version of the Empire State map called Icelock Gauntlet, also with a new game mode there, limited time. It's going to have the ice climbing axe, some portal updates. Outside of that, it's probably the smallest part of Season 1, but some of the changes here, if they don't come before then, are looking to be quite big. And here's a post that Enders put out saying, this recoil mechanic in Battlefield 6 that screws with your aim needs to go. Not nerfed, not adjusted, deleted. And what he's referring to here, if you weren't aware that this exists, is basically when you're adjusting for recoil or compensating for the recoil with your mouse, it is actually screwing with your mouse acceleration. For some reason, it's changing the variable rates at which your mouse accelerates depending on the recoil and the direction that you're pulling in your mouse. It's quite like inconsistent, but if you've ever felt like there's just something weird going on, that's probably what it is. And Drunk C, the lead designer, actually chimed in here and he says, we'll get it fixed. It's a pretty complex issue, but we're already cooking some improvements that will help quite a bit with this issue until it's 100% fixed. So it sounds like they haven't got it 100% ready, but they have got some, let's call it band-aids, maybe, that they're going to put into the game that should make it feel a lot better until they can fix it completely. And then we've got Kamikaze78 coming in here saying, for the love of all that is holy, please fix the footstep audio in Battlefield 6. And once again, Florian says the entire in-game audio is receiving a full pass to solve those issues, including fixing some issues that cause some songs to completely cut. We're still working on it and verifying the changes, but hoping we can share more details on that soon. So that is really good news. I, for one, agree with Kamikaze here. The footstep audio in BF6 for me just isn't audible enough. By the time I hear it, and it also feels like it's weirdly directional, like if I'm looking at the direction that somebody's walking from, then I hear the footsteps, but if they're coming behind me or from the side, from the left or the right, I generally don't hear them until they're right on top of me, at which point it's just too late. So I think that's the main part of the audio for me that does need looking into, but according to what Florian says here, they're going to be doing a full pass. Now here are a couple of other ones out of Battlefield Bulletin. He says that the switch class hotkey buttons Q and E will be removed. So this is basically like a console feature where it's telling you which buttons you need to press to scroll through the various classes. Obviously, you don't need that on PC because you just click on the class that you want, and so these are unwanted, unnecessary UI features, and those are going to be taken away, apparently. The mouse sensitivity slider, at the moment, only moves in round numbers, so I don't know if anybody's noticed this, but if you go and mess with your mouse sense, you can only drag it with your mouse, or even if you press the arrow keys on the keyboard, you know, up and down in whole numbers, you can't get a decimal point. And the way I had to fix this is by going into my config file and figuring out the conversion rate between the value in there and what it says in game, and then I was able to get my 11.2 on the mouse sensitivity slider back again. But it's a massive pain. This broke in the last patch, and it sounds like they are on to fixing this. And then weapon optics randomly switching to thermal. The fix didn't make it into the 1.1.2 update, but apparently it is coming in the next one. And if you've never had this happen to you, sometimes even if you've got a regular 1x, red dot sight, it will just randomly turn into a thermal sight. Sometimes it can kind of be beneficial to you, but most of the time it's just a little bit bewildering. And finally here, there are some new goodies, some new skins and cosmetics available right now. If you log into the game and you go to the store, you will find this Jungle Tiger skin, which is a recon skin. And actually, in my opinion, one of the better looking skins in the game. You can claim that one for free. If you are an NVIDIA card user and you have an eligible card, you can go to the NVIDIA app to claim this skin here for the SVK. And then just the other day, DICE sent out one of these in-game mails that says 3 new challenges, 3 new rewards. Starting December the 2nd, 3 new challenges will be available to complete in any Battlefield 6 or RedSec mode. Check your challenges tab starting December the 2nd to see what character skin, background, and icon you can earn. So we don't yet know what those are, but just know if you log in then, you'll be able to get them. So there you go, guys. That is about going to do it for this video. Things have been pretty quiet on the news front. We haven't really heard too much directly out of DICE in terms of community responses and things like that. Obviously, the developers like Florian continue to be active on Twitter, but David Serland, he's not been saying much. There haven't been any official posts from DICE or the Battlefield Studios, but as soon as there are, I will be sure to keep you guys up to date with it here on the channel, so make sure that you are subscribed. As always, guys, if you enjoyed the video today, leave a like. Let me know what you think about everything that we discussed down in the comments section, and I'll see you all in the next video.